faham tak 4.30 tu apa? Pukul 4 dia orang habis benda ni. Hana baru habis. 4.30 dia orang gerak pukul 5.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to everyone. A very warm welcome to Yang Berbahagia Dr. Muhammad Nasir bin Abdullah who just joined our meeting room. Good afternoon, sir. We are incredibly grateful to have you with us for session 2 today. We will be starting our presentation shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a restful break and are ready for the second half of our program. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Farisha Rania binti Mama Fairis from Class A, and I will be steering the wheel as your moderator for this afternoon's mini conference. My goal is to ensure everything runs seamlessly and every group gets their moment to shine. Before we begin, let's ensure a smooth session by following a few simple ground rules. Please keep your microphones muted and your cameras turned on throughout the program to maintain an engaging atmosphere. We also kindly ask that you ensure a stable internet connection, minimize any background noise, and remain courteous and respectful in the comment section all the times. Thank you for your cooperation in making this a successful session. This upcoming session is dedicated to the brilliant minds of Class C. I am incredibly eager to see the innovative concepts and hard work they are about to bring to the table. As always, following each pitch, our esteemed panels will share their professional critiques. Also, our beloved students to share their feedback. Without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. I would like to call Group 1 to kick off the presentation. Let us begin with Group 1. Please proceed with your presentation.
Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to present our exploratory data analysis on student exam performance. My name is Alina Bila and this is my group members, Mutashim Askia, Abdul Haris, Dalila Zara and Aisha Husna. Next. I'm going to start with a brief introduction to our dataset. We obtained this dataset from Kaggle, titled Students' Performance in Exam. This dataset includes maths, reading and writing scores of US high school students. It includes demographic and socio-economic factors such as gender, race, parental level of education, lunch time, and test preparation costs. This is our objective. First, clean and pre-processing. This involves removing duplicates, fixing missing values, and handling outliers using IQR method. Second, evaluating the effect of the test preparation course on the student performance across mathematics, reading, and writing. Third, to analyze course participation based on test preparation and parental education level. Lastly, to find the correlation strength between students' reading and writing score using Pearson correlation. Next, this is our overview structure. As you can see here, we have 1000 observation and 8 variables. Next. So this is our variable. We have gender, race, parental level of education, lunch and test preparation costs. All of these 5 are categorical data. Next, we have math, writing, and speaking score. These 3 are integer and representing our numerical data. So I will pass to Mutashin.
Alright, today to the data preparation. So for the data clean, first we load the data set from we use the function vet.csv and make a name of variable exam. So next, to we want to see the structure of data set, to see the observation and to identify is it a numerical and categorical data. Next, to check the message value, we use the call sum ISNA to find is it have a missing value or not. So for this data, they don't have a missing value. Alright, next for check if they have a duplication, we use a sum duplication for exam. So they have one duplicate in this input. So I need to remove the duplicate to clean the data. I use exam, not duplicate exam to and make a new variable that is exam clean. So next, I want to convert category variable into the factor because it make easier to make a graph. Uh, so for the summary, I want make the summary because I want to see if there is have impossible number or not. Okay, so next I detect the outlier by using the box plot to see if they have outlier. All right. So the box plot they actually have the outlier for mathematics, reading and writing. So I need to remove the outlier by using the library replier to use the filter. So I make a new variable here, exam outlier and exam clean pipe filter met score and more than equal quartile because I want to remove the outlier. I use the quarter 1 and quarter 2 0.75. Alright. So next to verify the data set, I used to see the different about bukan sorry, to see the size of variable exam clean and exam not outlier. So here is the output summary. Alright. Okay. Here is the result after I remove the outlier. Alright. Next, I will give to the Abdul to present the visualization.
Thank you, Mutashib. Uh, Next, we move to the visualization of our dataset. There are three distributions of student scores which consist mathematics, readings, and writings. For mathematics, most students score between 60 and 80 marks, indicating generally good performance. Very few students score extremely low or high marks. The distribution is skewed to the left. Next, for readings, most students score between 60 and 85 marks. Only a small number of students achieve very low or very high scores. The distribution is skewed to the right. Next, for writings, most students score between 60 and 80 marks. Very few students score very below 40 or above 95. The distribution is symmetrical. Next, uh, we have the visualization of average exam scores by test preparation course status. Students who complete the test preparation course achieve higher average scores in maths, reading and writing than those who did not, where the yellow indicates the average scores of students who completed the test preparation, while the purple one indicates those who not completed yet. Next, uh, uh, for for parental education level and test preparation course participation, most students did not take the test preparation course across all parental education level. The largest groups were students whose parents had a high school or some college education. The red indicates the number of students those who did not take the test preparation, while the turquoise one indicates those who did take. Next, I will pass to Husna.
Alright, thank you. Now let's start with the data summary. In this section, I run some R code to calculate the descriptive statistics like mean, median, variance, and standard deviation for math, reading, and writing score. So here's the output. As you can see, student perform slightly better in reading compared to math and writing. It is because mean of reading is the highest compared to math and writing. Second, the scores are quite consistent because the median is close to the mean. For example, mean for math is 66.65 and the median is 67.00. Also, writing scores vary more between students compared to other subjects. Next. So this table give the this table give you a more clearly overview so that we can see the highest and the lowest more easily. So here reading is 69.27, which is the highest, and math is 66.65, the lowest. Next. Now we move on at the frequency table. So this I run some code to produce a frequency table. This table counts how many students fall into each category, like how many completed the preparation course and how many did not. So this is the output. As you can see, most students did not complete the test preparation course. It is because the number of 9 is the highest, which is 658. Meanwhile, completed is only 330. And the number of male and female students is almost the same. Female 479 and male 520. Next. So this is the clear table so that we can see the difference between frequency table for test preparation course and frequency table for Zendit. Next. Okay, finally, let's look at the cross distribution between gender versus test preparation course. So this table want to compare male and female students in terms of whether they completed the course or not. So based on our key findings, both male and female students show a similar pattern because the number of 9 is the highest, which is female 320 and male is 328. For both genders, most students did not complete the test preparation course. Next. Okay, this result gives us a clear picture of how course participation varies by gender. So that's all for me. I will pass to our next friends. Dalili.
Alright, so my name is Dalili and I'm going to present the correlation analysis between reading score and writing score. So based on the scatter plot, we can observe a clear positive linear relationship between the two variables. So as the reading score increases, then the writing score also tends to increase. The Pearson correlation coefficient is R equals to 0.95, which means that there is a very strong positive correlation. This means that students with a higher reading score also have a higher writing score. Next. So in conclusion, students who completed the task preparation are most likely to perform well in their exams and are less likely to fail. And then the result also shows that students with parents with a higher level education also influences students to join the course, so that as a student with a higher level education were most likely to participate. So overall, the test preparation appears to have a positive effect on academic performance. So that is all from us. Thank you.
All right. A fantastic start. Thank you, Group 1, for setting the bar high with that structured delivery. Fellow students, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. I guess there is no questions, so let's move on. Let us welcome Group 2 to the stage. Hi and Assalamualaikum. Greetings to Dr. Nasir and friends. Today, me and my teammates want to present our topic about gaming versus academic performance. So first of all, we would like to introduce ourselves, starting with me, Saidatu Humaira binti Muhammad Fahmi.
And I'm Mio Muhammad Danish.
And I am Muhammad Shahid bin Ismail.
And I am Danish Anaki bin Rosli.
Hi, I'm Muhammad Qaisri.
And last but not least, my name is Putri Balkis.
To kick things off, let's look at the foundation of this study. The data source for this project was obtained from Kaggle, specifically a data set titled Gaming versus Academic Performance by ESPER. From this data, I identified several key variables to track. These include behavioral metrics like daily gaming hours, daily study hours, device usage, and calculated smartphone addiction score, alongside demographic variables like gender and preferred gaming genre. With this data framework in place, I established three primary objectives for this research. First, to analyze the direct impact that gaming has on student academic habits. Second, to assess the potential link between general daily screen time and actual smartphone dependency. And third, on a methodology level, to demonstrate a practical real-world application of mixed method data analysis. To meet this objective, I structured the core of this study around three distinct research questions, splitting our focus between qualitative and quantitative analysis. Our first question takes a qualitative approach, asking does a student preferred gaming genre significantly depend on their gender? Here, the goal is to see if demographic patterns influence the types of virtual environments students choose to engage with. From there, we pivot to the data numbers with two quantitative questions. The second question investigates the ultimate student balancing act. Is there a significant relationship between the number of daily gaming hours and the daily study hours of a student? We want to determine if increased time on a console or PC directly crowds out the time spent hitting the books. Finally, our third question digs into the psychological side of device habits. Is there a significant relationship between daily device usage and total smartphone addiction score among students? This allows us to look beyond just time spent and see if higher usage strongly correlates with actual dependency behavior. By answering these three questions, this research aimed to paint a clearer picture of how digital habits
are shaping the modern academic landscape. Let's jump straight into the data and see what the findings reveal.
Alright, now jumping to the phase one, the data preparation. Sorry. Okay. Alright. So for phase one, our main goal was just getting our raw data clean and ready so we can actually work with it. We started out with a huge file of 8,000 survey responses and 14 different variables, which is way too messy to use as is. The first thing we did was look for missing data. We ran a complete .cases filter to throw out any incomplete rows, which brought our missing data that rate straight down to 0%. We also cleaned up the gender column by filtering it to just male and female. We did this on purpose so that when we do our group comparisons later, our data is balanced and we have clean groups to test. Next. This slide shows how we planned out our cleaning steps. We focus on refining the sample, choosing our variables, and fixing the data types. Under variable selection, we started by dropping basic things that don't matter for math, like the student IDs. But once we actually got into writing the R code, we decided to take it a step further to make our project a lot tighter and more focused. Now, looking at our actual R script, right here in the select function, we chose to drop 8 of the variables like age, grades, and attendance. We realized that things like grades and sleep hours were just distracting from what we actually want to study. By cutting that out, we kept only 6 core variables that are purely about gaming habits, like what genre they play, what device they use, and how many hours they log. This leaves us with a really clean 200 times 6 dataset. We turn the text columns into factors so R can read them correctly, and everything is saved as a clean SCV file. The data is 100% ready for our group to start running tests. So moving on to phase 2.
Okay, now let's look at stacker bar chart for this slide. This slide shows a stacker bar chart of gender distribution across different gaming genres, namely casual, FPS, and RPG. The chart allows us to compare the number of male and female participants in each genre. First, in terms of total representation, FPS has the highest number of participants with approximately 79 respondents. Casual follow with around 71 respondents, while RPG has the lowest representation with about 50 respondents. For the casual genre, female participants slightly outnumber male participants, with around 38 females compared to 33 males. This indicates that casual games are slightly more popular among female respondents. Next, the FPS genre shows that the most balanced gender distribution. There are approximately 39 male participants and 40 female participants, suggesting that both genders are almost equally interested in FPS games. Lastly, for the RPG genre, male participants form the majority. There are around 27 males compared to 23 females, indicating a slightly stronger preference for RPG games among male respondents. Overall, the chart shows that gender distribution is relatively balanced across all gaming genres, although small differences can be observed in casual and RPG games. And this is our code for stacker bar chart. Next, I will pass this to my colleague.
Thank you, Shahid. Next, we move to box plot. The R code below shows how we construct the box plot using ggplot. To make the data easy to visualize, we break gaming hours into groups using the mutate function to create a new category called gaming level. This allowed us to cleanly group students into low, medium, and high level gaming for our box plot. We then use the cut function with breaks equal to 3 to take everyone's total gaming hours and automatically split them into 3 equal buckets. So when you run the code above, you will see 3 green boxes standing side by side. Then we will get the distribution of gaming level on the x-axis and study hours on the y-axis. So let's take a look at the box plot. Right now, we are comparing daily study hours across 3 levels. As you can see, every single box in this plot shows positive skewness, which is skewed to the right. So if you guys notice how the middle lines, aka the median for all 3 boxes, sit at almost the exact same level. The study time for high gamers is actually slightly higher, around 5.7 hours, compared to the medium gamers, around 5.1 hours, and low gamers, around 5.4 hours. However, this slight fluctuation isn't large enough to suggest a definitive trend. Next, the interquartile range and the whiskers are nearly identical across the board. This tells us that in every single group, it has some students who study very little, around 1 to 2 hours, and others who study an immense amount, up to 10 hours, regardless of how much they game. What I find interesting is the data challenges the common stereotype that heavy gaming severely cuts into study time. Because as I know, when you tend to games a lot, you tend to take less time to study. So this data proved me wrong. So what can I finalize is gaming level doesn't seem to be a strong predictor of study hours here. A heavy gamer is just as likely to study 6 hours a day as non-gamer. That's all from me. I will pass this to Putri to present her scatter plot.
Thank you, Sai. Okay, for this scatter plot, we're looking at the relationship between daily device usage and smartphone addiction score. The graph shows an upward trend, which means when device usage increases, the addiction score also tends to increase. For example, students who spend more hours on their phones or device usually record higher addiction scores compared to students who use their device less. So as you can see, this is our R code for scatter plot graph. So based on this graph, we can conclude that there is a positive relationship between daily device usage and smartphone addiction among students. Next, I'm going to pass to Mio.
Thank you, Putri. Next, data analysis. For this analysis, I first selected only the numerical variable from the dataset, which are gaming hours, study hours, device usage, and addiction score. Then I converted this variable into a data frame called my data and used the summary function to generate descriptive statistic. From the summary output, I obtained the mean and median values. The mean represents the average value of the data, while the median represents the middle value when the data is arranged in order. Next, for the mode, I use a simple coding method with function such as table to identify the value that appears most frequently in the dataset. For variance, I use var function. Variance measure how spread out the data is from the mean. A larger variance indicates greater variability among respondents. Next. I use the SD function to calculate the standard deviation. Standard deviation measure the dispersion of data around the mean. A higher standard deviation means the data is more spread out, while a lower value indicates that the data is more consistent. Next. This table summarizes all the descriptive statistics obtained from the previous analysis, including the mean, median, variance, standard deviation, minimum value, and maximum value for each variable. Next. For frequency analysis, I use the table function to count the number of observations in each category. The results show the number of male and female respondents as well as the number of respondents in each gaming genre. For cross-tabulation, I use the table function with two categorical variables, which is gender and gaming genre. This analysis helps compare gaming genre preference between male and female respondents and identify any pattern in their choices. Next. Lastly, for the correlation analysis, I use the core test function with the Pearson method. The first test examines the relationship between gaming hours and study hours. The correlation coefficient is negative, indicating that as gaming hours increase, study hours tend to decrease. The second test examines the relationship between device usage and addition score. The positive correlation coefficient indicates that the higher device usage is associated with a higher addition score. Since both p-value are less than 0.05, the relationship are statistically significant. Then I will return the result to Putri back for the conclusion.
In conclusion, this study successfully used R programming to clean, visualize, and analyze the dataset. First, the results show that preferred gaming genre is significantly dependent on student gender, meaning male and female students tend to prefer different game genres. Second, there is a significant relationship between daily gaming hours and daily study hours. This suggests that students' gaming habits may influence the amount of time they spend studying. Third, we found a significant positive relationship between daily device usage and smartphone addiction scores. Students who use their device more frequently tend to have higher levels of smartphone addiction. Overall, the finding provide useful insight into students' gaming behavior, study patterns, and technology usage. Thank you. That's all from our group.
Brilliant job, Group 2. That was a highly engaging and well-articulated pitch. Fellow students, do we have any questions for this group?
Saya ada soalan.
Please.
Dekat summary data, buat satu-satu. Tak buat function untuk summary statistik. Kan lagi mudah. Faham
Can
tak?
you repeat the question?
Kenapa summary data buat satu-satu, tak buat function untuk summary statistik sekaligus?
What do you mean by that?
Okay.
You need to give me
Kalau tengok dekat
clearly.
slide, saya tengok slide. Saya nak tengok. Dekat summary data, kenapa korang buat satu-satu? Itu
Because when I tried to uh, do like summary, I can get the result, so I just do one by one.
okay lah. Alright. Same yo.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you. Before we move on to our third presentations, we will now move on to our short 10 minutes break. Everyone is welcome to stretch your legs or grab a quick drink. Please ensure you return by 3 p.m. as we still have many exciting ideas ahead shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you managed to refresh yourselves during this short recess. Before we begin, let me remind you again a few simple ground rules. Please keep your microphones muted and your cameras turned on throughout the program to maintain an engaging atmosphere. We also kindly ask that you ensure a stable internet connection, minimize any background noise, and remain courteous and respectful in the comment section all the times. Thank you for your cooperation in making this a successful session. Let us dive straight back into our program and keep the momentum going. Next up, let's hear from Group 3.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, Dr. Nasir, and to all our fellow peers. We are Group 3 from Class C is proud to present our STA 334 project, which is Introduction to Statistical Programming. Our study focused on highly critical issue in modern society, which is teen mental health. So my name is Muhammad Aminul Hakim, and together with my group members, Mama Ikhwan, Mama Izzuddin, Mama Zahin, and Ahmad Imran. So next, I will begin with introduction. To give you some context, our dataset was sourced directly from Kaggle Teen Mental Health dataset. Our objective is to analyze the various lifestyle factors that influence adolescent mental health, and specifically to explore how these different variables interact using data visualization and statistical analysis in R software. So to achieve this, we have 5 core variables from our respondent. These include numeric data like age, daily social media hours, and anxiety level measured on 1 to 10 scale. It also includes categorical data such as gender and social media platform usage. Understanding this data type is crucial for the processing step that follows. So before we begin with mathematical analysis or any visual, we had to ensure our data was clean and structured properly within R. So this brings us to make data preparation. First, we import the raw CSV file into our environment using read.csv function and name it dataset1. Once loaded, we utilize the column sum is.na dataset1 function to scan our column for any missing value or empty strings. This step is vital to ensure overall data quality and to help us determine if any further data cleaning protocol were required before moving into visualization. So next, I will pass this to Izudin.
Thank you again. Now we move on to data visualization. The first one is anxiety level. We have visualized the anxiety level using a bar chart and using a ggplot function. We are using a violet red color to make the bar chart more appeal. The chart shows how anxiety levels are distributed from scale 1 to 10. Looking at the chart, we can see that responses are fairly spread across all anxiety level. There are no extremely high peaks or very low counts, as each anxiety level has more than 100 respondents. In other words, the students in our dataset show a wide range of anxiety level, and no single anxiety level stands out as the most common. Next, we move on to social media platform. Okay, for this chart, to get a clearer picture of students' social media platform preferences, we create a bar chart shown in the diagram. The chart was made using our standard function, which is base function, with a different color, which is sky blue for both, light green for Instagram, and orange for TikTok, to distinguish the three categories. From the chart, we can see that the distribution are quite balanced. The number of students who mainly use Instagram, mainly use TikTok, and mainly use both platforms are close to 400 students. This means that each group is well represented in our dataset, allowing us to make a fair comparison between the different platform users. Next, we move to daily social media usage. For this data, to better visualize students' daily social media usage, we create a histogram using a ggplot function. As shown in the diagram, the histogram shows the number of students across different range of daily usage hours. From the chart, we can see that only small number of students spend a very little time on social media, such as less than 1.5 hours per day. And also we can see also only a small number of students spend a very large amount of time, such as more than 7.5 hours per day. Most students fall within the middle range, with the highest concentration appearing around 3.5 to 5.5 hours and 6.5 to 7.5 hours of daily usage. This suggests that moderate heavy social media use is quite common among the students in our sample. Next, we move on to summary data.
For the statistical summary, I will talk about the first variable, which is the anxiety level. So the anxiety level was measured on a full 1 to 10 scale, as we can see. And the group anxiety level is moderate to high, centering right around 6, which is the both median and the mode. You also can see the responses very widely because the standard deviation is 2.86. Lastly, most people in this group are feeling a moderate to high level of level anxiety, but a few low scores are pulling the average down to 5.64. So next, I will pass to Zahi.
Alright, thank you Imran. Now I'm going to present the statistical summary for variable daily social media usage. From the main value, we got 4.54 hours. This means, on average, students spend 4.54 hours per day on social media. For the median, which is 4.5, it means that more than half students use more than 4.5 hours on social media, while the other half student use less than 4.5 hours on social media. The most common usage is 3.5 hours per day. For the lowest hours spent on social media in our dataset is 1 hour, while the highest time spent on social media is 8 hours per day. From those two values, we get that the range is 7 hours. The variance is 4.12, while the standard deviation is 2.03. It means that most students use social media between 2.5 and 6.5 hours daily. Now I'm going to pass back to Imran.
So for the next variable is platform usage. This variable is categorical rather than the numeric. We connect, calculate, and average for words. We use the mode to find the most frequent choice. As we can see, the R code confirms Instagram is the single most common category in the dataset. Next. We move on to the frequency distribution for variable of anxiety level. The group is split almost perfectly evenly across the board. The highest level of anxiety is 8 plus level, has the most people in it, 200 to 25 people, while the lowest is 0 to 2 level, has the fewest, which is 215 people. Next. For this, I will pass again to Zahid.
On this slide, we can see the distribution of how much time students spend on social media each day. The largest group spends between 2 and 4 hours daily, taking up almost 30% of the sample. On the other hand, the smallest group is those who spend less than 2 hours, only about 14%, while the group of 4 to 6 hours and 6 to 8 hours spent on social media is the same amount, which is 28% for both. There's no respondent that spend more than 8 hours per day on social media. Now back to Imran.
For the platform usage, 1,200 total people are split almost perfectly into the three equal parts. Instagram, TikTok, and people are used both platforms, each get it right around 3%. Instagram is officially labeled the most popular choice, but it only win by a tiny margin with 411 people compared to TikTok's 398, and both platform is 391. There is no massive winner here. So I will pass the next slide to Ikhwan.
Thank you, Imran. And as you can see in the slide, the cross tabulation table shows that distribution of social media platform usage by gender. The results indicate that male and female respondents have a relatively similar preferences for social media platforms. For both genders, Instagram is the most frequently used platform, followed by TikTok, and they use both of platforms. Overall, there is no larger difference in platform usage between male and female respondents, suggesting that social media preferences are fairly balanced across the genders. Next. For the Pearson correlation test was conducted to examine the relationship between daily social media usage and anxiety levels. The correlation coefficient obtained was R equals to 0.028, indicating a very weak positive relationship between the two variables. It means that as daily social media usage increases, anxiety levels tend to increase slightly, but the relationship is extremely weak. Therefore, daily social media usage alone may not be a strong factor influencing teenagers' anxiety levels, and other factors may also contribute to their mental health. In conclusion,
The Pearson correlation analysis suggests that there is almost no significant linear relationship between daily social media usage and anxiety levels among the teenagers in this dataset. Next. And for the conclusion, this study shows that social media usage and anxiety levels vary among teenagers, although there is no positive relationship between the two variables. The relationship is very weak. Overall, this project helped us understand teen mental health better by using data analysis in our studio. That's all from our group. Thank you.
An excellent delivery, Guthrie. You handled that topic with great confidence. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Do we have any questions? No? Okay. Let us keep the momentum going as we welcome Group 4. Before you may do your presentation now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. And assalamualaikum to Dr. Nasir and all the presenters. Today, we will talk about 10-year statistical analysis of gold prices across macroeconomics era. I will introduce myself. My name is Alia Nurdia binti Muhammad Suhairi. Next.
My name is Muhammad Zain Hafiz bin Muhammad Zaini.
And my name is Muhammad Eka Syaputra bin Ahmad Sofian.
And my name is Nur Akila Aini binti Khair Fauzi.
And the last one is
clear.
Irene? Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, we move on to the background of studies. So gold has historically served as a premier gold safe haven asset, acting as a crucial hedge against economic uncertainties, currency devaluation, and geopolitical risks. This study analyzed a comprehensive 10 years historical dataset of global prices sources from Kaggle, spanning from February 2016 to January 2026, and encompassing over 2,500 trading days. The past decade have witnessed unprecedented macroeconomic disruptions, moving from a relatively predictable financial environment to highly volatile global market defined by supply chain shocks, aggressive interest rate hikes, and rising global inflation. To understand these dynamics, this research divides the timelines of two distinct 5 years. So, and that is stable era 2016 until 2020, and the inflation era 2021 and 2020 until 2026. By evaluating daily closing price and alongside daily trading volume, this study utilized statistical programming in R to uncover how macroeconomic shifts directly influence asset valuation, market volatility, and investor behavior. Next. Our objective is to program, visualize, and interpret the 10 years of sequential trend and data distribution of global gold, closing price using advanced statistical graphics, and that is line chart, histogram, and bar chart. Objective 2 is to mathematically compute and compare the descriptive statistics, center tendency, and dispersion of gold market performance between stable era 2016 and 2020 and the inflation era 2021 until 2026. And the last one is to evaluate statistical correlation between daily trading volume and closing price and perform a cross-tabulation analysis to map the distribution of the price level across differing economic climates. Now I pass to my colleagues, Nurin Sofia.
Right. So for finding our data set, what we're going to do is to import our data to the software that we are using, which is R programming. So the thing that we want to do is to run the file-choose function. When you run the file-choose function, it will show us a pop-up of our window and allowing us to choose the file that we want to put in our R programming. And then after we choose the file that we want to import, we will install the ReadXL packages and run the library of ReadXL. So why do we run these
Sorry to
these packages and libraries?
interrupt, sorry.
Yes.
Your audio is not clear.
So are we clear now?
We can hear you. It's just that your voice is very, very robotic. We cannot hear you clearly. Can you move closer to the mic? It sounds a bit lagging, I would say. Can you move to other places?
So is my voice clear now? Still not.
It still sounds, I would say robot. Can you speak again, Andrew?
The voice option is wait a second.
All right. Boleh dengar.
Okay.
All right, group 4. We will proceed with group 5 first, and then we will let you to proceed with your presentation after this, okay?
Right.
So group 5, you can do your presentation first and then group 4, okay? All right, thank you, group 4.
Ayo.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muhammad Izzat Fikri and we are from Group 5. Today, we are going to present student stress and performance insight. This is our team members.
My name is Muhammad Hanifah bin Harun Amir Al-Rashid.
My name is Juliana binti Johari.
My name is Nurdamia Zulaika binti Muhammad Zaimi.
My name is Nur Afina Hazwani binti Abdul Rahman.
And my name is Siti Marina binti Malasi. So I'm going to start our presentation. And for introduction, we got our data set from Kaggle. And from this data set, there are 8 variables that we have to analyze, which is one student ID, the second one study hours per day, third extracurricular hours per day, fourth sleep hours per day, 5 social hours per day, and 6 physical activity hours per day, 7 GPA, and 8 stress level. From this analysis, we managed to get 3 objectives, which are to describe students' study habits and lifestyle patterns, to analyze the academic performance, GPA of students using descriptive statistics, and to examine the relationship between study hours per day and GPA among students. So first step that we did is importing the data. So to import the data, we use the function read.csv since our dataset file type is CSV. And we also use the function view data so that we can view our data completely without the data get maximized in the output. Since our data have 2,000 of observations. Then, and for now, I will hand over this presentation to Hanifah.
All right, thank you, Arina. Moving on to our data preparation phase, we started with basic data cleaning to ensure our data analysis is accurate and reliable. First, we imported the student lifestyle dataset. Before running any plot, we conducted a quality check. As you can see in the output window, we check for any missing value across all variables using call sums, which return 0 across the board. We also check for exact duplicate entries using the duplicate function, which also return 0. This tells us our raw data is exceptionally clean, with no rows needed to be dropped or changed. Next, we perform data transformation. The stress level variable we initially imported as a standard character to ensure our coding treats this properly as categorical variable. For our upcoming visualization, we converted it into a factor. We verified this at the bottom of the output window, confirming its class is now officially a factor. Our data is now fully prepared and ready for making visualization. That's all from me. I pass this to Izzat.
Alright, thank you, Hanifah. Next, this graph shows the OGIF of study hours per day. From the graph, the cumulative frequency increases steadily as study hour increases. This indicates that students' study hours are fairly distributed across the observed range. In addition, approximately 50% of students study less than 7.4 hours per day, while about 75% study less than 8.7 hours per day. Next. This bar chart shows the distribution of students' stress levels. From the graph, the high stress category has the highest frequency, followed by moderate and low stress levels. This indicates that most students experience a relatively high level of stress compared to the other categories. Based on the visualizations, study hours are fairly distributed among students, while the majority of students fall into the high stress category. These findings provide an overview of students' study patterns and lifestyle characteristics. Now, I will pass to Juliana to present her part.
So I'm gonna present the scatter plot. So this scatter plot indicates the relationship between study hours per day and GPA. So the main title for this plot is study hours versus GPA. So the title of x-axis is study hours per day and the y-axis is GPA. So I choose the PCH equal to 16, which fill circle. So I also choose the color of dark blue for the color of the dot. So each dot represent the student study hours and their GPA. So it can be observed that there is a positive relation between study hours and GPA. So in the other words, the more you spend time for studying, the higher GPA you tend to get. So I will pass to Afrina.
Okay. So for this slide, show a histogram of extracurricular hours per day, which is used to display the distribution and frequency of data. The x-axis represent the number of extracurricular hours per day, ranging from 0 to 4 hours, while the y-axis show the number of students. From the histogram, the frequency are fairly spread across all hour ranges, with no single interval dominating the distribution. Most bars have similar heights, indicating that students spend different amount of time on extracurricular activities with no strong concentration in any particular range. Overall, the histogram shows a relatively uniform distribution of extracurricular hours per day, where the frequencies are fairly evenly spread across all intervals. This suggests that students spend varying amounts of time on extracurricular activities without a strong concentration in any specific range or clear dominant pattern. Next. As you can see on the screen, we use this coding to calculate the measure of central tendency for both study hours and GPA. First, we use the mean function to calculate the average value and the median function to find the median value of the data. However, R doesn't have a built-in function to calculate mode, so we create a custom function called getMode. This function identifies the value that appears more frequently in the dataset. After defining the function, we apply it to both the study hours per day and GPA. We also use the var function to calculate the variance and measure the spread of the data. Based on the output, the mean, median, and mode for study hours per day are 3.93, 4, and 3 respectively, while the variance is 2.07. For GPA, the mean is 3.12, and both the median and mode are 3.11, with a variance of 0.089. This result provide a summary of the respondents' study habits and academic performance. That's all from me. I will now pass presentation to Arina. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Afrina. And for the next summary statistic is the frequency and cross-tabulation table. So for this section, we use frequency and cross-tabulation table to summarize the stress level and the time of study hour of the students per day. So from the frequency table here, we can see that most students are in the high stress level category, and most study hour per day for them is between 6 and 7 hours. So for the last part, the cross tabulation table. This table shows the relationship between study hours and stress level among the student, so that we can observe that the students who study more will tend to be in high stress category. So now I will pass this presentation over to Damia to discuss our next analysis.
Thank you, Arena. So we move on to the Spearman's rank correlation. So I would like to explain first why we use Spearman's rank correlation. So we use Spearman's rank correlation because Spearman does not require the data to be normally distributed, and Spearman is less sensitive to the outlier, means it is less affected by extreme value. Spearman also suitable for measuring monotonic relationships between variables. So, as we all can see from the slide, the result shows a Spearman's rho of 0.743 with a p-value less than 0.05, indicating a strong and statistically significant positive relationship between study hour and GPA. This suggests that students who study more tend to achieve higher GPA. We move on to the conclusion. So for the conclusions, we can conclude that this study successfully achieved its objective by examining student study habit, stress level, and academic performance. The findings show that most students spend a moderate to high amount of time studying, and many experience high level of stress. In addition, the scatter plot and Spearman's rank correlation analysis reveal a strong positive relationship between study hour and GPA. This suggests that students who spend more time studying generally tend to achieve better academic performance. Overall, the findings highlight the importance of maintaining effective study habit while balancing academic demands and personal well-being. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Super job, Group 5. You presented your ideas with great poise and confidence. Now, do we have any questions for Group 5? No questions? All right.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
How do you measure normality distribution in order to choose for you to choose Spearman rank correlation though? So how do you know that the data is not normally distributed as I said? Can you show the normality test that you have done for before you use Spearman rank correlation?
I'm sorry, Doctor. Can you repeat the questions because we kind of didn't get it?
Okay, you just say that you use Spearman rank correlation because the data is not normally distributed, right? So how do you check the normality distribution?
before we do another graph, we actually did a histogram graph with data of study group and GPA. So we do actually see that there is a normal distribution between GPA and study hour per day, but we just didn't include it in here.
Yeah, I think I want to see the distribution for both variable. Can you show me or show this audience the distribution of that two variable?
Sorry, Doctor, can you give us a minute to show you the graph?
Yeah, okay. So meanwhile, can you proceed with group number 4?
Alright, thank you for those rich insights. Last but certainly not least, let us hear back from our final group, Group 4.
Alright. Alright, Assalamualaikum everybody. So I will start again. Hold on. So we will present the 10 years of Assalamualaikum everybody and all the presenters. So we will present today the 10-year statistical analysis of gold prices across the macroeconomic areas. So right now, this is all my group members, Muhammad Aika Putra, Nur Akila Ayuni, Muhammad Zaim Nafis, Nurin Sofia, and I am Alia Nurdia. So as we all know, gold is a safe haven asset during economy. So it helps protect against inflation and currency loss. So this study uses a data set from Kaggle. Study uses 10 years of gold price data from 2016 until 2026. So it divides into two periods of time. One is a stable era and one the other 2016 until 2020. And the inflation era 2021 until 2026. So the data includes 2,500 trading days, useful for analyzing trends and trends and market patterns. So the past decades, with a major economic destruction and high volatility shift from stable markets to inflation, rate hikes, and supply stocks. Timeline splits into two periods, like I said just now, the stable era and also the inflation era. Uses daily closing price and the trading volume for analysis. Applies our programming to study trends. Aims to understand the impact on price and volatility investors' behavior. The objective is to program, visualize, and interpret the 10 years of sequential trend and data distribution of global gold prices using advanced statistical graphics like line chart, histogram, and bar chart. Second, to mathematically compute and compare the descriptive statistics and the tendency and dispersion of gold market performance between the stable era 2016 until 2020 and the inflation era 2021 until 2026. And the last one, to evaluate the statistical correlation between daily trading volume and closing prices and perform a cross-tabulation analysis to map the distribution of price level across the differing economic climate. Now I will pass this data preparation to Arin.
Okay, thank you, Dia. Sorry for the interruptions that happens before.
So I will be presenting the import data part. So for the this slide. So for the import data, we use file choose function to run, and after we run the file choose function, our windows will pop up a Windows Explore pop-up, so we can choose the file. So we can choose the file of data set that we will be used to analyze and visualizing our data. And then we install and run the readxl. We will install and load the readxl package. Why do we run and install this readxl package? Because our original raw gold price dataset was in SLSX formats. So we use the readxl function. We use the readxl package to run our dataset file based on the formats itself. And then after having our dataset, we use the ES data frame function to convert our dataset into a standard R programming objects, into a standard R programming subjects. And after why do we convert our dataset? Because in our original gold price dataset, it contains different data types. For example, date being character, trading numbers being integer, and also our price being numerical and decimal. So we use data frame as a specifically designed data frame that holds different data types in one, that holds different types of columns, and keeping it organized throughout the whole process. So as a result, we can see that it shows all of our import data step from the beginning to our structures of data. We see that there are 2,500 of 10 observation and 7 variable was run, and this indicates that we successfully imported our data. Next. Continue to the next slide. Sorry, can we continue to the next slide? Okay. To the finding values slide. Finding missing values. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Okay, so after we import our data, what we want to do is finding missing values. We use a while loop to iterate every single columns in finding missing values. Inside the loop, we use sum is.na to count how many blanks or missing field in each columns. And as a result, we see that each column have 0 missing values and ready to be used. Continue to the next slide. So after finding the missing values, we want to see is there any duplicate values that was included in our dataset. So we use some duplicate goal data to find any duplicated values that were recorded twice. And as a result, we see that there are 0 duplicated values in our dataset. Next one, we wanted to rename our column for a better presentation. Why do we did this? Because the original name column in the original dataset file was a long one, which, for example, open price of the day. So we renamed this one of each column to make it simple and easy to use throughout the process. For example, opening price being open, close price being closed. So how do we did this? We install the dplyr packages and run the library of the dplyr. We run and install this dplyr package to use the piper operator and the rename functions. So as a result, we run the goal rename, the new rename columns was called goal rename. And after we run this, we will see that all of our column name was now renamed and a short terms and easy to use for the next visualization. Continue to the next slide. So after finding missing values and checking for duplicated values, we move to variable selection. We run this variable section because based on our objective, we focus on the relationships between close price and the amount of stock trades, which volume. So the selected data was date, close price, and amount of stock trade. We wanted to see the trends between two timeline, which is inflation era and stable era. So we use these selected data to run and visualize the incoming data interpretations. So as a result, we see that the selected data was date, close price, volume, which was the amount of stocks trade. That's all from me. We move on to our next representative, Saim.
All right. Moving on to my part, which is data visualization. Okay, based on our project rubric, we selected and analyzed our one categorical variable, which is the economic era, and three numerical variable, which is our the goal closing price, the daily trending volume, and time in years. Using RStudio, we generate 4 graphics to fully analyze this variable. Let's look at the first graph. First, we can look at the input first. We are using the P underscore line. Next slide. First, we have our 10 years trend line chart. This graph tracks our first two numerical variables, time on the x-axis and closing price on the y-axis. To make it easier to read, we color-coded the line using our categorical variable, economic era. As you can see, the blue line shows the stable era from 2016 to 2020, where gold price stayed very steady under $1,500. By looking at the gold line, which represents the inflation era post-2020, the price completely broke out, violently climbing past $2,000 and reaching a huge historic peak over $4,700. This clearly proved that gold experienced a permanent upward trend over the decade. Next slide. This is the histogram price distribution of the input. Next slide. Next, I'm sorry. This is the bar chart. Categorical era counts. We have our bar chart, which is a simple count of our categorical variable, economic era. It counts exactly how many total trending days fall into our two groups. As you can see, both bars are almost perfectly equal in height, which is era contributing is a massive sample size of over 1,200 individual trending days to our study. In statistics, having a large and perfectly balanced sample size like this is excellent. It guarantees that we will run any test or make comparison between the two eras. Our summary are completely fair, balanced, and free for any sample bias. Next. This is Next. After the bar chart. Alright, then we move to the scatter plot. We want to see if our last two numerical variable, trending volume and closing price, had any relationship. So we create this scatter plot. Instead of using a format neat diagonal like going up or down. Next slide, please. The dots from a completely messy unstructured cloud like at the first, if you can see that the zero line XX, there was a messy unstructured cloud, unstructured dots. Furthermore, our black dash regression line is almost perfectly flat and horizontal. This visual match our mathematical Pearson correlation result, which is in R value of minus 0.02. Next. I will now pass the floor to the next presenter to explain our cross tabulation table and measure center tendency and dispersion.
Okay, thank you, Zain. Now let's move to statistical analysis. Moving into the score statistical analysis of our dataset, we broke our evaluation down into two distinct economic eras to see how gold price behave over time. As you can see from our R console output here, we calculate the central tendency and dispersion metric for the 2016 to 2020 period and compare them directly against the 2021 to 2026 period. During the intermediate 2016 to 2020 time frame, gold maintained a relatively steady posture with a mean closing price of around 1,394 and tight standard deviation of 260.44. However, looking at the 2021 to 2026 block, the mean drastically to 2,340.92, accompanied by a massive jump in standard deviation to 730.37. This tells us immediately that the later period was not just higher in value, it was significantly more volatile. Okay, move to the next slide. We have frequency distribution and trending dynamic. Look at how data points are distributed across this year. If you look at the histogram on the right, we will notice that the vast majority of our trading days saw gold closing price concentrated under the $2,000 mark, creating a heavily right skewed distribution as price spike later on. The next. To give you an exact look at the data weight per year, we compile the trending discount shown in this table for almost every full year between 2017 and 2025. We have a highly consistent baseline of roughly 250 to 253 trading days, with each full year accounting for about 10% of our total data set. Note that 2016 sit at 227 days and 2026 shows only 20 trading days because it represents our most recent vertical year data capture. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, now we focus on analysis Pearson correlation. First, how to find Pearson correlation. We run a Pearson correlation test in R, which you can see execute on this slide. Okay, next slide. Our final interpretation framework is summarized cleanly in table. The Pearson correlation coefficient came out to a nominal negative 0.02 with a p-value of 0.3167 because our p-value is well above the standard 0.05. This relationship is not statistically significant. In plain terms, there is an extremely weak no relationship here. Trading volume and closing price move independently of one another in this data set. Next slide. The last one is cross-tabulation analysis. So, in dig deeper into how this period differ, we perform a cross-tabulation analysis in R to look at the row counts and percentage distribution of high price versus low price. This across our two economic era. Right. The result after inflation era 2021 to 2026 is triggering 44.74% of the entire data set consists of high price days, while low price days represent just over 6%. In the stable era 2060 to 2020, the market was flipper. 43.86% of all total trading days fell into the low price category, with only 5.26% reach high price territory. Okay, the last part, conclusion for this analysis data. Next slide. To wrap up our statistical session, let's look at this high-level corporation matrix, which cleanly contrasts the stable era against the inflation era. The mean jump from 1,394 to 2,350. The median shift upward from 303 to 1,960. Our standard deviation expands significantly from 260.3 to 730.35. Highly the massive spread and volatility of the market during these later years. Finally, the range expanded drastically from 923.7 in the stable years to a massive 3,695.1 in the inflation era. Okay, that's all for me. I will pass to my friend for the last part.
Okay, thank you, Haikal. For the conclusion, this study found that gold price generally increased from 2016 to 2026 with a higher average price recorded during the inflationary era compared to the stable era. This indicates that macroeconomic conditions have an influence on gold valuation. In addition, Pearson correlation analysis was used to measure the relationship between the opening and closing gold price. The results show a strong positive relationship between the two variables, confirming that daily opening price are a reliable predictor of closing price. Overall, all research objectives were successfully achieved through data preparation, data visualization, and statistical analysis using R programming. This finding provide useful insight into gold price behavior and show how statistical methods can support financial analysis and decision making. So that's all from us.
All right, thank you, Group 4, for concluding our presentation round on such a high note. We now invite our panels or our fellow friends to share their final round of questions.
Kita orang dah habis.
Do we have any questions? All right. With that, we have officially reached the end of all group presentations for session 2. A huge round of applause to all Class C groups for their immense dedications, creativity, and outstanding efforts today. We also extend our deepest gratitude to our panels and honor guests for giving us their times, guidance, and expertise throughout these sessions. We will now pause for just a moment before transition into our virtual photography session at 4:10 p.m.
Sorry to disturb. Sir, we want to answer the previous question.
Okay.
The histogram of study hours per day is not bell-shaped, so we use Spearman.
Actually, correlation involve two variable kan. So another one. But it's okay. We just proceed with closing ceremony. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
All right, distinguished guests and students, we will now proceed with our official group photo. I kindly request all participants and students to turn on your cameras. To our honored guests and speakers, please remain on screen so we can capture this wonderful memory together. Everyone, please turn on your cameras. I repeat, please everyone turn on your cameras, please. Thank you for your cooperation, everyone. Flash your best smiles and hold them for the camera while we take the screenshots, okay? 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, perfect. We now have our official mini conference for those logged in. Thank you for making this moment picture perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached the curtain call of our mini conference. It has been a truly productive and successful event marked by stellar ideas, constructive dialogues, and high spirit participation. Once again, we are incredibly grateful to our honored guests for anchors of guidance today and to all the students for their incredibly teamwork and resilience. Seeing this level of collaboration and intellectual growth has been nothing short of inspiring. With that, we have officially bring this program to a close. Thank you for presence and for making this mini conference a resounding success. Wishing you all a safe and wonderful evening ahead. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you. In the meantime, we kindly request all participants to hold on for a moment for the numeric scanning session. Boleh scan e-merit ni dan isi manual ya for e-merit. Kalau ada apa-apa masalah boleh tulis kat komen. Once again, thank you for your presence and for making this mini conference a resounding success. Wishing all a safe and wonderful evening ahead. Right, thank you. Bye.
Let's go, gang.